Hi, guys.
Hello. This is
All
a very
right. Hello, everybody. It is May 30th,
yay.
almost going into June, going to the halfway mark.
Amazing. Amazing.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Glad to be here.
All right. Well, cool. I have been out of the office more than I've been in the office here the last couple weeks, and June is just going to be unbelievable. I am going to have to move around my schedule a little bit because in June, I'm going to be the week of the 13th. I'm going to be in Florida, and the week of the 20th, I'm going to be in Vegas during a conference. So I'm going to have to move our calls around a little bit due to travel time. I need some feedback from you guys if you would prefer the calls just temporarily to be moved to like a Monday or possibly even a Saturday. Any feedback on what you would prefer?
Monday's
Monday over
better than
Saturday.
Saturday.
Monday's better than Saturday?
I agree.
Okay.
I need a different background.
Well, we will see if we can fit some onto a couple of Mondays then, because that's these are ones I just can't get out of, and I'm going to be right in the middle of them. So,
Sorry, Jeff. Monday's preferred over Saturday.
gotcha. All right. Well, cool. So Monday it will be. The voices have spoken. All right. Has anybody got anything that you want me to cover specifically? Anything you're interested in learning about, need help with?
I'd like to learn more about doing graphics on the is it Mid-Journey?
Okay. Yeah, Mid-Journey. So what I have found in Mid-Journey is it's not real easy to work with. As far as the prompts, like
That's why I'm asking the question.
yeah, I've got a couple of tricks though I can share with you.
Great.
But as far as like with Mid-Journey, I got the best results just playing around with it, but I had to play around with it for quite a while. I thought I was going to be able to get the easy way out and just go to like Chat GPT or Perplexity and ask it for prompts for Mid-Journey.
Mhm.
And it did, I mean, it gave me fabulous prompts, but they didn't work very well. And I'm not really sure why. It was just kind of fiddling around with it to get it what I wanted. But like I used it originally to create my Becky girl for the Becky bot. And then when I wanted her to have different clothes, it made me a totally different girl every time. And I got really frustrated with it. And what I've found is if you upload an image, or not, you can't really upload an image. You have to upload it to your website and then get the URL of the image. And then you put that in the prompt. So, and it's pretty easy. If you have a picture or any kind of an image on your website, you just right click on it and you say, get the URL, or it'll give you the URL of the image. And then you put that into your prompt, and then it will use that as the base image. So what I did with the Becky girl was once I got the one that I wanted, I uploaded that image to my website, grab the URL of it, and then on my next prompt, when I wanted to change her into a different outfit, I used that base prompt image. And then it worked perfectly. Then it was like everyone I asked for, I got the same girl. So that was a little trick that I used. But referencing images is probably the best way that you can give the thing a prompt. Like, let's say, I know you know, a lot of people go on, they use Google Images, but then you can get in trouble for using somebody's copyrighted image. But what you can do with here is you can just grab the URL of the image and use the image that you want, and then have Midjourney recreate it for you. And it does really, really good at that. The other thing, as far as like images that I've found to be really good, is Gamma. Gamma is really phenomenal for creating images. And it's normally to make like PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that, but it has the AI image generator built right into it. And when it's creating the images, like you don't even really have to ask for the images. It will just create images to fill in your slides. And then you can go back and you can click on the image and it will open up the AI image generator inside Gamma and you can see what its prompt was. You can actually see the prompt that created that image. And then what you can do, you can edit the prompt and click regenerate. I personally think that's an easier way to create your images than going to Midjourney. For anybody that hasn't done Midjourney, Midjourney isn't really a website that you go to use for the images. They have a Discord group. So you have to, it's kind of like a lot of hoops you have to jump through to really get it to work. You have to join Discord first, and then you have to subscribe to the Midjourney channel in Discord. And then you get this funky chat window that most people don't really know what to do with. And to get it to create an image, you actually have to type in imagine slash, and then it will put it into image mode. So if anybody has not done that before, that's the process. So you have to sign up for Discord, and then you have to subscribe to the Midjourney channel. And if you go to midjourney.com, I'm pretty sure it's midjourney.com, it'll kind of walk you through that. But just know that there's a few hoops to jump through to do it through Midjourney. Now, after, a little bit of frustration with Midjourney, I actually wound up buying a couple of programs, that would help do that. And I'm just looking up my browser history here to see if I can find one of them. Let's see what it was called. All right, it's not restoring my window like it's supposed to.
Ah, good old technology. What
Yeah,
I'm finding is that AI is just like Google was at the beginning, a huge time sucker.
yeah, it's kind of like getting into YouTube. You
Oh,
can
please don't, let's not go there.
all day in there. Okay, why
I
can
want to know what everybody's doing behind their screens.
you do?
Yeah, well, Roy and I and Janie, but she's gone now, are the only ones that are on screen.
I'm eating breakfast.
Oh, bon appetit.
Yeah, there's probably some things going on you may not want to see. Who knows?
Hello. I'm just
Hello.
ordinary. I'm with my wife, and we are eating lunch. So, yeah, I'm prettier off screen.
I feel left out here. Everybody's eating and I'm not.
Either am I.
That's
I'm
one
not eating either. I'm just wandering around.
that's one of my favorite things. Okay, so
Thursday is no pants day in my house.
no pants day?
No
Wow.
pants day.
That's pretty aggressive.
TMI.
Would you say it was a pants off dance off? All right, I found what I was looking for, so
Great.
we can exit the debacle zone. It's called artspace.ai. And this is a program that is very Midjourney like, but you don't have to go through all the hoops that you have in Midjourney. And let me see what the pricing is on it. It starts at $7 a month, or $5.60 if you go annual. I wound up buying a lifetime membership for it. I think it was like a couple $100 and I got like the whole enchilada for life. And I've really enjoyed this program. It works.
What is it, John? What program?
It's called artspace.ai.
You want to put your affiliate link in the chat?
I don't have an affiliate link for it. I'm not sure.
Doggone it.
I'm not sure if they even have an affiliate. Not sure if they have an affiliate link. But
John, do you prefer it over Gamma for images?
it's a little different. I mean, I really do like Gamma for the images, and you've already got it. But I'll show you. Let me share my screen here. Show you what. And I've showed this before, but this is it. It's artspace.ai. And you can just type your prompt in here. You don't have to put the imagine thing. And it's got a bunch of different stuff over here. Like you can use different models. Like they just added one called Photorealism 2024. They've got one called Dream Studio. They've got one Anime Alchemist. So depending on what type of image, they've already got like these pre-framed rails. It's kind of like the bots. Like in Chat GPT, you can train a bot to do something specific. That's kind of what they've done here. They've trained some bots to do different styles of image graphics. But you guys probably saw my funnel where I had the quiz. And I put in here, like, I need a broken funnel that's cracked and leaking. And I got a whole bunch of different, just crazy graphics here. Let me see if I can zoom this in. Make these a little bigger. But like this is like a Terminator style looking graphic. But just really, really cool, futuristic, weird stuff.
Hey, John, if it does come up with an image, can you click on it and then add a suggestion? Like, I like that, but can you make the robot a female?
Yes, yes. Like here, this was like, I got in here and, I think it was Teresa said AI is like Google in the beginning. You could spend all day in there. That's what I did here. I mean, each one of these was me generating a new image, changing the prompt slightly. Like here's where I put, cracked and leaking, and I got, different weird stuff. So I think this is the last image that it generated. But, if you want a new image, you can just put in here a different prompt and then hit the go button, and it'll just create you images all day long. You can change the prompts. You can do all kinds of cool stuff with this thing. And here's like to stylize the prompt. Style modifiers, and you can clear the prompt. But let's say we want to stylize the prompt. We could turn it into an abstract, a watercolor, an animated. So you can turn it photorealistic, fantasy. So like, let's say you wanted fantasy. If you click on fantasy, and then apply. Let's see. I might have to re-log in here to get this to do it. All right, but okay, so apply. So now see how it changed the prompt? Envision a cinematic photograph captured on 35mm film depicting a broken funnel with vivid cracks and leaking its contents. So I would never know how to write that prompt. And it just kind of does it all for you. And then here you can do style modifiers. And this is like, you can add breathtaking, award-winning, professional, highly detailed. So if we want to add that, We can just add that in. And see, now it added the breathtaking in there. And now with that, we can go ahead and we can hit the generate. And it will now generate us a new image. And let's see, I've got so many in here, it's crazy. I'm seeing where it's putting our new image. So I think I'm not actually sure where it put our new image.
It's only 12% done, it looks like.
Let's
Thank you for the question, Terry.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, I'm full of curiosity, particularly about AI and crypto and all the up and coming things.
All right, let me see. Okay, let me clear this. I'm going to just clear the canvas. Now we got a new one. Let's just start from scratch so we don't have my full day's mess on the screen. And it usually doesn't take very long for it to generate the image. And you can also stretch this image out. This is just doing a 1-to-1 square right now. You can stretch it out if you want it horizontal or vertical.
You probably have so much in cache, it's taken a while.
Yeah, so there's our image based on the new prompt with all that stuff. And then if you want a different one with the same thing, you can just hit it again and see what it does. Sometimes it'll create something completely different. And that's the thing with AI. When you're using an image generation and you're not giving it a base image prompt, it's just free to imagine stuff. So it's taking what you've written here and look at that, completely different. So that actually, to me, that looks like more like a martini glass, but I can see it's a funnel, you know, that's leaking out at the bottom. But this to me, this is easier to use than Midjourney, and Midjourney doesn't have anything to help you with the prompts. So this is a cool program. Now, that said, there is a ton of other programs out there that could potentially help you. Here's one. This is called Pika. And I've been playing around with this. And what Pika does is Pika creates like a movie trailer. And you can literally put in a prompt and it will create a movie trailer type of thing for you. Like here's let's see, here's one with a donkey. And see how it's just moving slightly. There's a waterfall. But it will create these movie trailer type of scenarios. Like there's a butterfly. Sizzling bacon. And it's literally just creating this stuff from a text prompt. So if you wanted to create like a movie trailer, or maybe you wanted an intro or something, the problem I've found with most of these is, see how it's 4 seconds? I've only been playing with the free version. So the free version only creates like a 3 or 4 second clip for you. But then you can string them all together. Like if you've ever seen a movie trailer, it's not just one continuous stream. It's a bunch of little clips that are popped together. And Mr. McLean here, he probably knows all about this because he's a master video editor. So he would know how to take these and segment them together and transition them and all that and make like an award-winning thing out of this. But
It's like the old fashioned Disney sell to make
Mm.
a flip version.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But what you can do, you can either, well, what I should probably do to really play with this effectively is actually purchase it so I can generate, more than 3 or 4 seconds worth of playing with it. But they, it'll do like Pixar type stuff.
You know, if you all, from an editor's point of view, here's a suggestion you might consider is if you just want the frog, for example, the bacon, I'm curious if when it makes it, if it's loopable. So in editing, like you could take like if you just wanted a frog breathing, it'd be interesting to see if the software is smart enough to make it where you can take that 4 second clip and
Oh,
in a timeline, put it, one after the other after the other. Because like I say, for bacon frying
yeah.
or for a frog sitting there. But I wonder, it'd be curious if you could even say to the prompt, this might be a prompt to experiment with, create me a clip for this and make it so that the in point and the out point are
Is the same.
loopable.
Yeah.
So you can take an image, and this way you don't have to. So here's the benefit of it. If you want a background, and you want it to run for like 3 minutes, well,
Mhm.
instead of having to generate that image 3 minutes long, if the prompt can say, make it for 10 seconds, and but make it loopable, then you would only create a 10-second clip or a 15-second clip, and then you'd
Yeah.
just be able to loop it over and over again. So that might cut down on your usage, your cost, things like that. So looping is an interesting prompt.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So where I got Pika from was I actually saw somebody did a demo on this thing, and obviously they had the paid version of it. But what it was like a 30-second video, like a trailer, almost like a movie trailer. And they had a Jeep going around a mountain on a little thin road, like looking over the cliff, very dramatic. And it just, I saw the prompt and then I saw the video that it created. And I'm like, holy crap, that is pretty phenomenal. It had all the stuff that they had asked for. But here you can see these if you scroll through these. This is Pika, Pika .art, Pika.art. And you can see the the prompt that they use, and you can even copy it. And then you can use it yourself or edit it, change it, whatever you want to do. But you can learn a lot by looking at these prompts and just seeing, okay, well, this is what made that. Water glass, neon, promotion. Yeah, I mean that's obviously just something that it came up with out of nowhere. But here is a Vermeer painting a milkmaid in Puritan bonnet, something or other. So there's some weird stuff in here.
It's Vermeer, John. Vermeer is an artist.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So I'm not up to speed on all the art stuff, but you can learn a lot by, just looking at these. Like here's a raccoon wearing sunglasses, 3D animation. And that's what you got. And I bet you if you rerun it, you get something completely different. And then once you get what you want is you can upscale it and then it'll produce this so you can use it. So here's an astronaut walking away cinematic. There's a robot walking in the snowing. So for the most part, it does what it's told. Here's a polar bear charging in the Arctic snow approaching. Well, that's kind of
And
cool.
then, John, how do you save it into your um into your slide deck?
Well, what you do once you create it, you can export it.
Ah,
So
okay.
these are just samples that you could start from, Like you could edit this, you could reprompt it, you could use this as a base prompt and start your journey. But pretty cool stuff as far as image graphics. Like this, I think that's pretty cool. Astronaut sitting at control board with blinking lights. I mean, it comes up with some really incredible stuff.
Big possibilities.
Yeah, yeah. But again, the prompting is the key for all this. Now you can get prompts. You can go over to either Chat GPT or you can go to Perplexity. Like when I did my PowerPoint presentation using Gamma, I actually had Perplexity write the script for that whole PowerPoint. And in each slide, it actually gave the image prompt. So that worked out really, really well. And then I could go in when I saw the images. Some of them I really liked, and some of them were like, I think we could do better here. So I was able to click in Gamma on the image and it showed me the prompt, and I was able to change it and regenerate the images and came out with a really spectacular presentation. The other thing about Gamma that I wasn't really clear on at first is it will also do documents. In fact, it will even do a book. Like imagine having Gamma create a book for you that had all the pages and, exported in a PDF. This is the perfect lead magnet. This, I swear to God, this has made marketing so easy. One of the biggest problems is leads, right? Everybody needs leads. If you guys, like, how many of you guys, be honest here, how many of you guys still don't have an opt-in where you're generating a lead list? I mean, that is the core. Seriously, that is something that if I ask you this again next week, you shouldn't raise your hand because it's really easy to do, especially if you have Kartra, there's no reason that you should not have an opt-in box. It is so easy to do. You could have an opt-in box on your site in about 10 minutes. No, I
Or
know.
10 days.
No, not 10 days.
So John,
Seriously. Yeah, go ahead, Kim.
yeah, so I don't have Kartra, but I have Get Response and I know how to do all this stuff, but I would love it if you would do like a 5-minute training on that so that because I am totally not there, but I should be there and I have so many opt-in pages, right?
Yeah.
So I think that for me, I know my audience and all that. I think it's just hooking it all together. It would be
Okay.
awesome if you could. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could do it in Kartra, no problem.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where for me. I mean, for me, I can always translate it to something else. I'm a computer scientist, right? So,
Okay.
but I mean, it's more about my learning has always been since June. I've been in the industry for 35 years doing transformation on both people and computer side. And now I'm in the entrepreneur world. And in June, I was learning marketing and sales for the last 9 months.
Gotcha.
A water hose of learning. And now
Okay.
I understand it, but there's pieces that I just want to hook together now. And your training's been amazing as much as I've seen. I haven't used it all, but and I know it's my own fault for not going through and finishing it yet. But I've got other things. I'm doing a retreat and all these other things there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone feels that way. But for you to, I think just doing the training would then ground me into doing it to hook the pieces together. Make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
I can easily do that. And I can prove that it doesn't take 9 days. So yeah, but I use Kartra, like I said. Let me see if I can get into my Kartra. It likes to lock you out every once in a while. Let's see here. It needs to send me, okay, there's my code. all these places have these new authentication codes. It just drives me nuts that I have to do that to get into my own stuff.
Amen.
Okay, so let me share the screen. Is there anything else you guys want me to talk about before I do this? Because I'll otherwise I'll dive into Kartra and I will show you how to create an opt-in, the whole thing.
Hey, John, I had
John,
one
I do have one question about Becky, because and if you could go into Becky and how Becky I'm guessing Becky runs on Kartra, it doesn't run on
Well,
anyway.
Becky is AI. Becky runs on a program that is basically it's using Chat GPT in the background, but there's a framework. Becky is a software for you to create a bot easily. You don't really need the Becky software. You could go into Chat GPT and you could create your own bot. It's a lot more difficult. There's a lot of moving pieces. So the Becky software really just simplifies the whole process of building a bot and getting it onto your website. But it's its own software. You go in and you follow the steps to build the bot, and then it gives you it generates the code, and all you have to do is literally just put that code on your website, just like a widget code.
Okay, so Becky runs on a website using that plugin and your software key that unlocks it, and it is basically your help bot. It's not necessarily for making appointments and things like that. It's a help bot. Is that right?
It actually has a lot of built-in functionality. It can actually do scheduling of appointments for you. The best way I would do is I would have it prompt someone. I would have it talk them into scheduling an appointment and then just giving them your Calendly link or your Kartra calendar link or whatever functionality you use to schedule. But it could drive the whole thing and send them there. I think the programmers that made that for me, I think they did put that functionality into it, but I've never really played around with it because I use the Kartra calendar.
Okay, so the Becky can give you a link to the Kartra calendar or Calendly or the calendar that it has built in according if you knew how to access it, right?
Yeah, you can actually instruct the bot that, after the conversation goes on for so long, here's what I want you to respond with. And you can give it a call to action. You can direct it to a sales page, say, hey, you might want to check out this. It can make a product recommendation. It could make a recommendation that you schedule an appointment. You can do all kinds of trigger points on it like that.
Okay, how long does it take to how much time do I need to, if I'm going to sell Becky, I'm going to need to block out a chunk of time to program Becky then for each person that I'm going to be using her for. How much time should I allow for that?
Once you go through the process and you really figure it out, I would say an hour. But it's an hour if you've got all the pieces sitting at your fingertips. And one of the sets of pieces is going to be the documents to train it. Because just the broad strokes of the Becky bot, the first thing you're training it with is her personality. And it doesn't have to be a her, it could be a Bob bot. It doesn't matter. But you're training the bot with its personality. You're telling it who it is, what it's like, if it's fun, playful, down to business. It might be a mathematician that's got very dry or no humor whatsoever. So you literally program it to have its personality. You tell it who it is, where it was born, when it was born, how it was raised, all that stuff. You can really program a really cool personality. And then when it responds to your customers, it is that person. It's not responding robotically. It's responding as a person, which is really cool. Like, it can make reference to, oh yeah, well, my grandpa always used to say, and it could literally come through with that personality, which is really, really cool. So that's the first framework that you build for it, is its personality. And then you build its knowledge base. And this is where you train it with the training documents of what you want it to know. In the personality framework, you can also tell it, you are only to answer questions based on the knowledge that I'm giving you. Or you can unbridle it and say, answer first with the documents I'm giving you. And then if you don't know the answer based on what I've told you, then you can go out to ChatGPT and answer the question, or don't answer the question and say, I'm sorry, I don't really know the answer to that, but I'll check on it and get, have somebody get back to you, or contact Steve, here's his email address, or go to our help desk. I'm sorry, I don't know that one. It's over my pay grade. Check our help desk, and somebody that has the answer to that will get right back to you. So instead of just, not having someone there, you literally get the opportunity to train this bot to do whatever you want it to do. So you've got the personality part of the training, and then you've got the skill set part of the training. And outside of that, you're just picking an image for it. You're giving it a name. You're just really just filling in the blanks on the sheet to configure it.
Okay, so you're going to be using this for heaven knows what different type of business. So I'm guessing you're going to have to ask the owner of the website, okay, we're going to have this bot. It's going to be help. I'm going to need your you're going to have to provide me with the documentation. Are there categories of information, or you just leave it to them to figure out what they want to send you?
Well, I mean, I would tell them, give me a PDF with all the specialized knowledge that you want this thing to know. Give me Q&As, basically any knowledge that you want the thing to have. That is going to be on them. Unless you're doing like a known commodity, like let's say you pick a niche and you're going to go after karate studios. So you build a bot that's like the dojo master, and it knows everything about karate. And now you can go sell that bot to every karate studio on the planet. So it's already pre-trained with the skill set. All you have to do is just give it the personality. Say, who do you want your bot to emulate, and tell me about them. You could give them a worksheet to, hey, just fill this out. It's going to say who it is, the name. You can even give us an image if you want a particular image for your bot. And you could do it that way. But
okay,
if you don't, you do need to train it with a skill set somehow.
Okay, and Becky is just for websites and that sort of thing. As an example, I'm thinking she does not plug into if someone texts their business. Can Becky?
Yeah, she's not a text bot. Okay. She is a chat bot for a website. Okay. Basically, you could, any place where you can inject a piece of code into a website, you could have her pop up.
Okay, so if you're going to be, if you want to do texting, that's a whole different kettle of fish, I'm taking it.
Yes, that is a whole thing. There's a friend of mine, Jeff Mills. If you want, I can put you in contact with him. He has created a phenomenal texting bot. I mean, it's phenomenal. He had it text me and I didn't realize it was him. And it's this girl texting me. And we went back and forth for almost an hour before I figured out it was a bot. She contacted me on text asking me about Acquisition and we got into an hour-long conversation. I'm trying to sell her Acquisition I had no idea it was a bot. He was just playing with me.
Okay, I'd like that information. That would be helpful.
Yeah, just email me to give you Jeff Mills' contact information, and I'll get that over to you. But yeah, it's amazing what people are doing with AI. Like I've got the Becky bot for websites. Jeff has the texting bot for texting. There's even I wouldn't recommend this because of regulation, but they've got the robo-bots, the robo-calling bots. And I'm sure some of you have had these things call you and, talk to you, and damn well it's a bot. But I've had some that were really good. I've had some that it's hard to tell that you're not talking to a real person. And what I found was I found a way to trick it. I found a way to get it to hang up on me. And then I know it's a bot. And what I do is I'll interrupt it and I say, "Can I ask you a question?" And it'll say, "Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead." And so, "What color are your socks?" And it'll say, "Well, I don't know what you mean." And I say, "You are wearing socks, aren't you?" And generally it'll hang up. If it's a bot, it'll hang up on that second question. So, I mean, you could ask it anything of that nature, but I asked it what color its socks are. I figure if it's a real person, that won't offend them too much.
Yeah, John, you can go dark on that real fast.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't. All right. Anything else? Chris, do you have something before we pop into Kartra?
Yeah, there's a question I keep forgetting to ask you. On your site, you have a link to FTC Guardian,
Yes.
which you recommend for making sure our websites are legal compliance as far as all those different things. And so my question is, if I were to purchase that, can I use it? I tried to find the answer. Can I use it for just one site, or if I have
You
different
can
sites?
use it for all of your sites.
Okay, that was my question.
Yeah, you
All right.
can't use it like to resell it for client sites, but you can
Right.
use it for all of your own sites.
Okay. And if you could just give a brief recommendation as to why we should have that. What trouble will it keep us out of?
That basically it doesn't prevent any trouble. Like it's not any kind of a thing where you say, "Hey, if I'm using that, I'm not going to get sued." It's not that. But what it does, like the main purpose is to have you compliant. So an agency like the FTC, for instance, if they get a complaint, let's say a consumer complains about you, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to have one of their peons look at your site. And if your site doesn't have policies on it, they're going to stamp a big red flag on your file and send it through the system. If you've got policies in place, the peon will look at them and say, "Oh, well, yeah, this person should have known because it's in print here." And they'll just throw it out. So that's what it's there for, to get you like safeguarded. If you have nothing, you have no defense. Anybody that complains about you, you're toast. If you don't have any policies or anything preventing them from saying, "Hey, this person screwed me. They claimed this and they didn't come through and I'm upset about it." And then you can have a federal agency come after you, and it's not a pleasant thing when that happens. I've never had it happen to me, but I know several people that have, and it's a very nasty process. So anything that you can do to show that you are trying is going to be gold on your part. And that goes for the ADA compliancy as well. There are ambulance chasing attorneys out there that are hunting for non-ADA compliant websites. And they have bogus clients set up that are handicapped that will make a claim that your website frustrated them and irritated them and violated their rights. And now all of a sudden you got this attorney coming after you. You're a little guy. You can't afford a lawsuit like that, a frivolous lawsuit, and you have to defend. I mean, you get an attorney slaps a lawsuit on you, you have to defend. It's not like you can just say, "Oh yeah, well, go kiss off." They can legally come after you. So in the case of the ADA, if you put the ADA widgets on your site, it shows that you're making an effort. And when they see that, they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're not going to fight that. We're not going to try and take this guy down. He's trying." So same thing. It just you're showing that you're trying to be legit. You know, it's like if you're a small business and you don't get a business license and you're operating a business out of your house and you don't have a business license, you know, that you're not showing that you're trying. And if somebody complains about you, like the neighbor calls the city and says, "Hey, you know, these people have people coming in and out of their house all day long. I think they're running a business." Well, the city's going to come knock on your door and question you. And if they find that you're running a business without a business license, guess what? You're going to get yourself a nice fine. And you were an easy target because you didn't show that you were trying. You know, if you get a business license and somebody complains about you to the city, they're going to say, "Well, yeah, they do have a legitimate business. Their license is on file. So they're not, you know, they're not hurting anything. They're not out of compliance." So it's, you know, it's just real basics. You got to show intent that you're trying to do things right to protect yourself. So, and it's funny that you brought that up, Chris, because I just talked to Alan. Alan Cutts is the guy that runs that. And he's not the attorney. The attorney is Chip Cooper that runs the FTC Guardian. But Alan does all of his marketing, and I've known Alan for years. And I just recently reached out to Alan to see if he wanted to do a promo with Acquisitionaire. And he said, "I would love to. Would you like to do one for FTC Guardian?" And I said, "I would love to." Because what we're going to do a webinar for you guys from them so you can hear it right from the horse's mouth. You can ask the questions directly. Chip will be on there. So if you have any direct legal questions, you can ask him directly. We can collectively try and muscle Alan for a better deal, maybe for people that are on the webinar. So don't buy it just yet, because we're going to probably do that webinar in the next week or so. So if any of you guys are wanting that, hold off, watch the webinar. I'm sure Alan always does something special on the webinar. And we're going to also try and get him to whatever he does. I'm going to try and get him to evergreen it. Because
Way cool.
yeah, if you notice, if you go to their site directly, the best deal you're ever going to get is like $9.97 per year, right? Or I think they have a lifetime as well. But I got them to lock me in and all my people for $4.97 for life. So anybody that's bought that through my link, you've got that special deal. So who knows? Maybe we can muscle them and get even a better deal.
Yeah, that link is still working, by the way, John.
Yeah. Somebody said it wasn't, and I checked with Alan, and he said no. He said what it is, if you've gone to it in the past, it has a timer on it. So it's not like a forever deal. You have to take the offer. But he also said, and this is kind of a key if you're ever up against that, all you have to do is take the link and open up an incognito browser and put the link in an incognito, and it starts the clock again. So that's a little workaround. If you ever get something that's expired, as long as it didn't expire on a particular date and it's just a clock timer, that'll get you around it. So anyway, I do have the $4.97 lifetime deal on the site. It's at the bottom, at the footer of my website. But I would recommend, if you want it, hold off. I'll get Alan scheduled here in the next week or so, and we'll do a webinar and we'll go to town. Maybe we'll do that on one of the Mondays.
Oh,
'Cause
that's good.
I've got a couple of those next week that maybe we'll substitute out, and I'll just let them do their thing. But I am going to record it, and we're going to evergreen it. So I'll have it in the membership area too for anybody coming in later.
One last question about that, John. I believe you mentioned when you talked about it before that it is not self-updating, that like, laws will change or requirements will change. So don't you have to kind of manually go to their site? This might be a question for Alan or the guy. Don't you have to manually go for checkups, or in other words, it's not one and done?
Yeah, that again, that would be a great question for
Okay.
Alan. Because I was under the impression, because you put the widget on your site, I was under the impression that they could update it, but I don't really know if they do or not.
John, my experience has been they allow you to either print out the documents yourself so you can actually put like a PDF or, actually put the text on your website, or the page can just be a link and the link takes you to their website for your document. And
Correct.
that's the one that will update.
Yeah,
Okay.
but my concern is, as new laws or new requirements come up, by the FTC, let's say in, 2025, they introduce a new thing, I might not be compliant. And so the question I would have for Alan is that, what happens if there's new laws? Do you automatically update our thing, or do we, that would be the question. When laws change, how does our protection adapt?
One thing I know, when you are a customer of theirs, you're on their email list. So they're very up to date on keeping you up to date with all of that stuff. So when something changes, they send it out. It's up to you, obviously, to pay attention to your email and look at what they're saying, which I don't do a very good job of that because I get too much email. So
John, they do twice a month live workshops where you can go on. He tells you what he's going to be covering, and then there's a live Q&A at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a really good program to have because of that. It constantly gives you access to an attorney. Like here, you constantly got access to me for all the marketing stuff, but I'm not an attorney. I can't help you with that stuff. But there, to buy a lifetime access to have that support is a total bargain. I know $497, might be a lot for somebody that's just getting started and hasn't made any money yet. But if the more money that you make, the more it becomes important. So that's my view. That's not legal advice, but that's my view. So like don't go out and spend a bunch of money on a bunch of stuff before you figure out you can actually make money at it. That's my advice. And again, it's advice based on my opinion, not on legal stature. So it's interesting. I'm going to do a 2-day live event for Craig. And I don't know if you guys have heard of it, anybody that's in Craig's group. I'm going to be doing a 2-day live training for him in Los Angeles I think it's the 3rd week in June. And it's going to be based around AI, but I'm going to put a lot of ACT in there. He's got a lot of members that are, they're startups, some of them haven't even made their first dollar yet. And the first part of the lesson, I kind of decided this yesterday. The first part of the lesson is what I'm going to teach him I'm going to teach him how to fail. That's going to be the first lesson out of the box. I'm going to teach him how to fail, and I'm going to teach him how to do it fast. Like I'm going to show them how to look at a business model and in 10 minutes know if it's going to fail or not. And I'm going to show them literally how to fail a business model within 10 minutes. So they don't waste time, they don't waste money, and they don't have their hopes and dreams shattered. And by failing, it will allow them to get to something good quickly. So that's going to be my first lesson out of the box, is how to fail fast. Because if you look, like I've had hundreds of businesses throughout my life, and a lot of them, most of them failed. And almost every one that has failed, I took way too long to make that decision that this isn't worth moving forward. Now, where I'm at now, I can literally, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to spend anything. I can spend about 10 minutes intellectually bouncing the ping ball between my ears, and I'll know if it's going to fail or not. And I can just say, nope, that one, we already did it. It failed.
Okay, John, it's in your materials already somewhere, but I'm not calling to mind where I would go back and refresh my memory on that.
Of where that is?
Yeah, because while you're teaching him, I'm sure you've covered it here at some point in the 15 years I've been listening to you here. I just don't remember where I can go back and review that, just so that when it comes up, I know where to go look and review and make sure I'm up to speed on that.
You are correct, but it's not there. It has been covered on the calls. It's not actually in a physical training, but it's a compilation basically of analysis and the first step prior to analysis. Because I'm gonna walk them through the freedom formula. The freedom formula is in the program. And what the freedom formula is, it's figuring out, what the cost is of your ideal life and what the profit is of what you're trying to sell. And then how many do you need to sell to make that life come true? And that's going to be the basis of me helping them fail. If they cannot sell enough of their idea to create the profit to live their life, I'm like, what are you doing this for? Because this is why you have a business. You have a business to make money. So you need to figure out what it is that you're selling, how much profit there is in it, and how many units you need to move to make your life come true, make your dream come true in your life. And if that doesn't look like it's doable, you just failed. And you did it in 5 minutes instead of spending 5 years to figure it out. And it's not that, I'm not there to try and destroy anybody's dreams, but, I'm just going to try and make sure that the dream isn't a nightmare. Let's get the nightmares out of the way really quickly so we can get to a good dream. That's what it's all about. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's going to be the first step. I'm going to show them how to fail. Because I want them to. I want them to fail until they can't fail anymore. And then they're going to have a chance. So I think that is the most humane, kind thing that I could possibly do for the group.
So John,
Yes.
so are you going to have that recorded and can that be put in the portal? Because I know you have templates that I've been following the first training parts that actually does some of that. But your guidance on that would be very helpful. So then you can grab the templates that we understand that's in the portal. And then your training that I think someone's asking about, and I'm asking about too. I'd actually fly down to LA to sit into just your session for that.
Well, you could definitely do that.
I can't because I'm speaking. I'm out speaking all over.
Gotcha. So this is going to be a pure experiment because I've never done it before. I've just kind of been noodling it around in my head of, okay, what am I going to do for 2 days with this group of people? And that's what I came up with. That's where I'm going to start. So it's going to be a pure experiment. I don't think they're going to record it. They usually don't record, these type of things at this particular event. But what it'll do, it'll allow me to run through it and perfect it. And then I can come back and I can probably take what I'm going to do there in 2 days. I can probably boil it down into, an hour. And
John, you should record that, and this way you have the content. Just ask that ask who to that he'll let you record it.
Yeah, I already have the content. I mean, the content's not the problem. I could speak on this off the cuff. What the problem is delivering it live in a 2-day event. I'm gonna have a lot of interruptions. Believe me, there's gonna be people asking questions that are irrelevant. unjust, whatever. So it's not going to be like when I create a training that I'm going to evergreen for you guys, I want it to be concise. I want no fluff, no nonsense. Get to the point, get in, get it done, and get out. And if you notice, if you've looked at any of my videos, you'll notice they are not long and belabored. All of the ACT videos are, I mean, they're right to it. There's no fluff. Here, you know, when you guys are here on the call, there can be some fluff here. I tell a lot of stories. I do a lot of stuff to like get points across to make it easy for you guys to learn. But in the training, you know, that's for everybody, and it's just meant to be a core base value. And then on the calls, that's where we dive in and, you know, roll up our sleeves and get our elbows dirty. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if I think we lost Kim. I was going to do the Kartra thing just for her. We lost her. So.
She had a drop.
Oh, did she? Was it in the chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
John, do you think we could do the Kartra next week just as like early in the outset?
Yeah, we could do that, or I can do it right now and she can watch the recording.
Either way.
Whatever you guys want. Well, I didn't realize we're already an hour in. Time just flies through here when we're
doing it now does seem fair, because I remember she asked a question and you were like, okay, any quick questions before we dive in? And we took up her time. So
yeah, okay.
I feel bad.
Well, let's do that. Let's do that. So if she wants it, she can get in there and grab it. I'll put the recording up. So I'm going to share the screen. Now, for building an opt-in box, there's 2 things that you need to create. Actually, there's 3 things you need to create. And the order then in which you create them is important if you don't want to go back and forth and bounce around. So the 3 things that you need is you need a form over here. So the problem with jumping into the form first is the form requires a thank you page. And if you don't have the thank you page, then you got to half-fast finish the form, go build the page, and then come back and update the form. So if you build the thank you page first, that will avoid you having to bounce around. You also need an opt-in page to put your form on. So the page that you put the form on, you need the form before you put it on the page. So it's like, what I usually do is I knowing that I need those 2 pages, I'll usually just create the pages first as shells. I won't go in and edit them, but I'll just create them first. Then I create the form. Then I go back and I'll put the form on the regular opt-in page. And because I've created the thank you page, I can put it in the form while I'm building the form. So that's typically what I'll do when I want to create an opt-in for a website. So I already have a lot of these things done, and I'll use them as templates. So let's just let me see if I can find the AI book, because this is a perfect example. I have a lot of pages in here. Okay, so here's the AI book opt-in, and here's the AI book thank you page. So I'm basically just going to clone those 2 pages. So I'm going to clone this one by hitting clone. Now I could just as easily have created a brand new page, but I've already got one that is here that we're going to just call this page test opt-in, and we'll put it in the Internet Dominator category. And I'm just going to hit clone. So now it's going to open the builder. And again, I'm not going to dive in here. We'll come back and we'll edit the page after I get the form done. But I'm just going to show you how I do this. get the 2 pages up first. So this builder, the page is there. Obviously, we're going to edit this. We're going to come back and do that though in a minute. So as this is loading, I'm going to go to actions and I'm going to actually publish this page. That way it's live, it's up. Don't worry about this. If it's not perfect, nobody is ever going to find this. So don't even sweat it. So I want to put this on my page. I don't want it on a Kartra. I want it on my own domain. And I'm just going to put here test opt-in. That's what I'm going to call the page name. So now I have my page name here. I'm going to copy that. I'm just going to pop it into a browser and open it up. So there it is. That's our opt-in page. Obviously, it's not done yet. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do the same thing for the thank you page. So I'm just going to go down here and find our thank you page. There's our opt-in. It should be the next one. Okay, so I'm going to clone this guy. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say test opt-in TY for thank you. I'll put it in the Dominator category and we're going to clone this guy. And hopefully, well, let's see. Is somebody timing this? I know it was after 12 o'clock when we started, so we'll see how long it actually takes to do this. So I'm going to publish this one now. So it's up and live and ready to go. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to rename the page, put it on my domain, and we'll call this one test opt-in TY for thank you.
I have a clock running on this, John.
Okay, perfect. So that page is now done. I don't need to go look at it because it's going to pop up as soon as we test the form anyway. So our 2 pages are up. We have opt-in, we have thank you. So now I'm going to go to the forms and I'm going to create a new form. I'm going to call it test opt-in. And one thing I do in Kartra, whenever I'm building a campaign, this is a campaign that I'm building. Even though it's a little tiny micro campaign, it's a campaign. So I call everything in the campaign the same thing, which here the base is test opt-in. So that way, when I look at all my assets, I know, oh, okay, that goes to that campaign. So that's just a little hack for you. So when I go to create this new form, the first thing is it wants to know what fields we want. I usually just start with first name and email. If you want to add a new field, like let's say you need their phone number for some reason, you can add it in here. Or if you want their postal code or, whatever you need, you can just go ahead and add it on in there. But I'm not going to do that for now. I'm just going to leave it first name and email. And I'm going to save that. And we're going to move to the next thing. This is the confirmation. This is if you want a single opt-in or a double opt-in. I always do single opt-in. I never require a double opt-in. That's just me. Now, a success page. This is where we just created that success page. And I put it in, let's see, I put it in no particular site. And it's called test opt-in thank you. So that is our thank you page. If we didn't have that page created, we couldn't finish this form and we'd have to come back and be bouncing around. So that's why I created those pages first. Now, welcome message. This is where you can say send a welcome message or don't send one. I'm going to say send one just so you can see the process. It's got my default info in there, so I'm going to save that, say yes. Now it wants an email. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this over to rich HTML, and that will allow me to use a template. So I am just going to drop this email template that I've already pre-configured. Thank you for registering. This is not the email that you would want to send, but this is just so you can see how. Now I'm going to put an email subject line in here. And this is a bad subject line for opting in. I would never do this in a real subject line. I would give them the benefit. I'm going to say, congratulations. Like normally I'd say, congratulations on taking the first step toward getting whatever they wanted. That would be a typical subject line for me. So I just saved the email. Now I can assign a tag to this, which you would probably want to do. If you assign a tag, you can select a category. We'll do Internet Dominators and Internet Dominator free member. We'll just assign that tag. If you want a new tag, like if you don't already have a tag, you can just create new tag here, call it whatever you want, categorize it however you want, and add it. Also, when you have a new person that comes in, you always want to subscribe them to a list. Otherwise, they're just abandoned in your system. They're just the lead that is not attached to anything. So I'm going to put them in here as Dominator family. So that tells me they're a free member. They just signed up, for something, but they didn't buy anything yet. So they're going to get, I'm going to save that. They're going to get assigned this tag. They're going to get put on this list. They're not going to get subscribed to a sequence or any automations. That's a more advanced thing. I'll show you that in a different lesson. This is just about putting an opt-in box in. Now here, you can say, how do you want to apply this? I'm just going to say, I'm going to use this form in a Kartra asset because I already have a page set up. You could also say, I'm going to embed this form on a third-party page. If you wanted to just put this form on your own website, then you can do that. Then you check that button. So I'm going to save that. And that is about all there is to it. Our form is done now. So now what we want to do, since that form is done, we're going to go over and we're going to edit our opt-in page. And we're going to change where the form button goes. And I'll just show you the components of this page real quick. So the main component is what is called a money shot. You're showing them a picture of what they get. You're giving them the instruction of what to do to download the free thing. So there's the money shot. Here's the thing, special offer, get this ebook loaded with all the secret tools and highly successful marketers use to leverage automation. Get your free copy now. So there's your call to action. We're going to edit this button. And that is going to bring up our edit window. And we're going to click on the link tab. This is all the stuff of how you configure that button. But when we link, we're going to pop an opt-in form here. And this is our form. So we're going to edit what form that is. And we want the tests opt-in form. Notice I have a lot of forms here. Every one of these forms is collecting leads for me. So we're going to select test opt-in form. We're going to apply it. And then we're going to say done. Now, obviously, you could change all of this stuff, but we're going to say done here. And then we're going to publish live. And for the guy there, the handsome young man running the timer, we're almost done. So we're going to refresh this page. We're going to click here now to get our free copy. We're going to opt in. Uh-oh. Something went wrong. Looks like this page doesn't exist.
You know, John, I think I know why. I was watching you choose. I think you chose the wrong page.
Oh, you're right. I didn't pick the
Or the wrong form. It was the one
Oh,
underneath it. Or no, it was sorry, it was the last show. There was like test opt-in and test page, and I don't
okay.
think you chose the
Let
right
me just
one.
look. Let me just look real quick here at this one. We'll see if I missed it on this one. I think I got the form itself right.
Yeah, because I remember you said, and then we select, like test opt-in, and you chose something that didn't say test opt-in. You chose
Oh, okay. I might have misclicked.
Yeah, you misclicked.
I was looking at the one I wanted.
Right.
Okay, so we will do the pencil again. We'll go to the link tab when it pops up. And then we'll edit the form and see which one I chose. Test form. You are correct. Test opt-in. I knew I got the test part right. Okay, so now let's do done. Let's publish again. Thank you for paying attention there, Chris. Okay, we're done. I'm going to go back. We're going to refresh. And we're going to try it again. Okay, that looks better. Notice it just has the name and the email. And there's our thank you page. And on the thank you page, again, you've got the money shot, you've got the thank you for getting the thing, and then you've got a way to download it. So this button here just goes to a download file. And then on my thank you pages, I always like to do something extra. So they're getting what I promised them, but now I'm giving them something extra additional, free AI webinar. Why would I offer them a free AI webinar? Because they just got a free AI book. So this is highly relevant. And then here's another special bonus where they can get a Zoom account for $12.99 a month, a full enterprise level Zoom. So I'm giving them a couple of extra bonuses here. But also, if we go over to my email and I'll get my messages here, you'll notice it says here a lead filled in an opt-in form. So it just told me, hey, this guy signed up. Here's my email. Thank you for opting in. So everything worked, and I think we were, about 15 minutes? Probably would have been a little less if I didn't screw it up.
It was 16 minutes.
Okay. So in 16 minutes, you could have an opt-in generating leads. Now, obviously, you got to do a little editing on the pages and all that, but it wasn't difficult to do. There was basically three things. I made a page, made a thank you page, which, if you notice, was pretty much a clone of the original page. It all looked identical. The only difference was instead of the opt-in button, I put a download button. And you might ask, oh, well, why didn't you just let them download it here? Well, I wouldn't have got their email address if I did that. That's the whole reason for an opt-in. The whole purpose behind this lesson right here is so you can start building a list. If you don't have a list, you have zero I'm talking about zero chance of making money today. That is pretty much the hardcore reality of internet marketing. If you have no list, your chances of making money today is almost, it's so transparent. You can, it's so thin, you can see right through it. You've got to have a list. Now, I don't have a huge list. I have several different lists, but none of my lists are really big. But my lists are fairly responsive. My lists are from people that trust me because I'm giving them stuff. I'm truly trying to help them. And when I make recommendations, I don't just recommend stuff to make money. If I make a recommendation, I believe in what it is and I think it will help you. You know, if I didn't, I wouldn't make the recommendation. I don't need the money enough to screw people and just make a quick buck, right? And I don't promote a lot of stuff. If it's something that I believe in and I know you need and I can get you a better deal on it, then that's what I tend to try and promote. Like the FTC Guardian, that's a perfect example. I know you guys all need it. I know you don't want to pay, you know, $1,000 a year for it. So I try and get you a better deal. You know, $497 for lifetime is a pretty good deal. But, you know, we'll see if we can do better. Teresa, go ahead.
Okay. So if I want to send a cold email to that opt-in page on SendGrid, where do I put the link to the opt-in page on a SendGrid email?
Okay, so let me show you how that works. So in the let's see, let me go back, let me get out of here, out of that page. So back to my form. I'm going to go and I'm going to re-edit the form. So to use SendGrid, you first of all have to go over here into the integrations tab and you connect your SendGrid with their API to your Kartra account.
Yeah.
So that has to be done first.
That part I got.
Okay, so if you've got that part, we're basically going to the single opt-in here,
Mhm.
and we're going to go to the next page, which is the welcome message. I'm going to see here where it says sending a welcome message via Kartra mail. I'm going to change that to SendGrid. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
There's no configuration whatsoever on SendGrid. This is why I wanted to introduce SendGrid into Acquisition Air. I just didn't realize I'd never been in SendGrid before. My only experience with SendGrid has been through Kartra, and Kartra makes it seamless. Kartra does all that crap that you need to do manually in SendGrid. So this is all I'm doing. I'm just saving it. Now that email is going to go through SendGrid just like that. That's it. That's all you have to do.
Okay.
There's nothing else to it.
Well, yeah, I know the welcome message would basically says, here's your thing, here's your
Mhm.
AI book or whatever it might be. But if you're sending emails to other people, people from, say, from the Acquisition Air list,
Okay.
okay?
So it's the same thing. Let's go to communications.
Yeah, but what if Kartra doesn't recognize those people?
As long as they're on your list, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to create a broadcast
All right.
and I'm going to clone. Like this is the broadcast I sent out this morning.
Okay.
or yesterday, whenever it was. So I'm going to clone it. I'm going to clone that guy. And I'm going to, here it is. Kartra Mail. All I'm doing is just changing it to SendGrid.
Okay.
So see how it's going. So this whole broadcast is going to get sent over SendGrid instead of Kartra. Any place where you're dealing in Kartra with email, that's literally all you have to do.
Okay, so where do I put the addresses of the people that I want to send to?
That's under recipients. So that's where you say, I want to send to this list, or I want to send to people with this tag.
Okay.
So if they're in your Kartra account,
What if they're not in my Kartra account?
if they're not, then you're out of luck. This is for Kartra. So this is anybody that is in your Kartra account. So anybody that's on your lists in Kartra,
Okay.
under communications, you have leads.
Right.
So like in my Kartra account, I've got 5,455 contacts.
Okay.
I can send to any one of those I want, as long as it doesn't have a red dot on it. That's
Right.
somebody that bounced. So they probably put a bad email address in. But any of those people, I can create a broadcast and I can send to any of them. Also, if you're doing sequences, like I have a number of sequences that go out, I can see how many active leads are in each sequence.
Mhm.
These sequences could be sent through SendGrid or sent through Kartra Mail. Like with Acquisition Air, somebody that comes in through a lead that I've purchased through Acquisition Air,
Yeah.
I would want to use SendGrid to do my initial reach out contact to those people
Okay.
because they're cold, they haven't opted in. And then once they opt in, they're going to go on to a different list inside my Kartra account that now I can send to them because they're now a hot lead. I can send to them using the Kartra Mail. I'm just using
Okay.
SendGrid to just bridge the gap between turning them from cold to hot.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Okay. I have a list. I put it into SendGrid.
Okay.
Okay. And it says, hi there, introduces me, tells them basically that I can provide them with a tremendous amount of service.
Uh-huh.
And then don't you ask them to click on the opt-in page to get a freebie,
You
which
can,
puts them
yes.
on your list in Kartra?
Yes. How'd you get the list? Where'd the list come from?
It's an Acquisition Air list.
Okay. So if it's an Acquisition Air list, we don't have the bridge yet. I keep saying this every week and it drives me nuts that my guys have not got this complete yet. But once we get the API, those leads will now not only go to your Google Sheet, those leads will automatically be imported into your Kartra account.
I understand that.
And from there, you can just do what I just did. For now that they're not in there, yeah, you probably have to go through using SendGrid. And I don't really know the process of using SendGrid outside of Kartra.
Well, okay.
But
What I've been
the
doing,
process is you would want to send them an email
yeah,
inviting them to your Kartra opt-in page. Then they opt in. Now they're in your Kartra list, and now it's a
all
warm
right. So which link do I use to get them to put in the email to get them to the Kartra page?
That would be the page of your opt-in page that you built in Kartra.
Okay, so there is a button in SendGrid that has the link to the Kartra opt-in page
Okay.
that I can call it anything I want. Okay, I gotcha. But I've been sending them to a landing page that's been sending them to an opt-in page that has been sending them to a thank you page. So
Yeah, just send them right to
maybe
the
I'm,
opt-in.
alrighty, okay.
Just
I'll
send
give
them
that a
right,
go.
right to the opt-in page. So the email should be saying something like, "Hey, you know, I've got this free thing that's going to help you do yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Here's the link." They go there. There's the thing. There's the button to opt in. That's the sequence.
So, and if they open it and don't opt in, then I can send them through a sequence, nudging them every other minute to opt in.
You can't really do that until they're in Kartra. Until they've opted in.
Well, no. I can do that because I can set up a sequence in SendGrid.
SendGrid. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's taken me 9 days, 10 days.
Okay, I get it now.
I'm drowning in all this
Yeah, I
stuff. So I
really,
really appreciate the tutorial.
yeah, like we've got the integration now for Go High Level. We've had the Go High Level one for quite a while. I Go High Level is not my thing. Kartra is my thing. So I literally cannot wait for me to get my hands on this, because anybody that's got Kartra, I can help them, you know, with their acquisition error, getting it plugged in. So, and it's just as simple as clicking that SendGrid button and away you go.
Well, now that you have the integration with SendGrid, it'll be easier for me to automatically link the acquisition error leads to SendGrid and go through that process.
Yes. Yeah, you can have the SendGrid, you can have those leads coming right into SendGrid, and then you trigger an auto response. Yeah.
Yep.
I just don't know the process because I've never done it manually like that.
There's a tutorial on the acquisition error page.
Yeah, I know Brady kind of went through that and got the bumps and bruises and
Yep.
all that.
He's on my list to contact and get that underway to be more automated.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Thank you.
Connie's probably up to speed on that also, more than I am. So either one of them should be able to point you in the right direction. All right, Roger. Roger that. Oh, you're muted there. There we go.
Hey, John. Sorry, I'm trying to get the optics a little better. So I have a question about, sorry, I'll just move over and sit real quick. I have a question about tagging opt-ins so that you can follow up with emails. And here's the issue. I suspect I'm like many people. I have a valid email that I use as my junk email. If I want a freebie from somebody, I give them that email. If they have the double opt-in, that's fine. I can authenticate. I get the freebie. But then if I'm going to engage with somebody, a coach or whomever, and I'm going to really sign up and pay them, I want to switch over to my real email, the email that I check regularly, that I follow. So then everything else, like if I actually do the sign up and pay thing, I'll use my real email.
Okay.
If a customer does that, that means you will have two emails for the same customer. Now, let's say the customer buys something at a particular discount level, and what you do is tag them to not then follow up sending the next discount level to that same customer they've already bought. They will see that next discount level on their other email, typically. Is there a way? I know it can be defeated, but I wish there was a way when I actually go to sign up and pay or engage that I could say, hey, this is a different email than what I've already opted in with. It's here's my secondary email, use this now, something like that, without going into an account and changing your email, because I haven't yet really signed up with the person.
Yeah. You can do that in Kartra, but like you said, if you don't want to go in and change your email in your account, then there's no There's no magic voodoo to do it.
Yeah, nobody's going to do that. So what do you do as the person that's sending out offers to people to try to recognize that they probably are the same person under two emails?
Well, first of all, I try not to chase ghosts. So I address problems that actually happen. And what you're talking about is you are not normal, right? You and I and most of the people on here are not what we would call the norm. You know about the spam thing. The normal average person that's going to buy most products is not going to go create a new email to do what you're doing. So in probably 99% of the cases, that's not going to be an issue. And when it is, the worst thing that's going to happen from that is that person is going to be getting promotional email and fulfillment email at the same time. Now, the worst part of that is you might get to a point where you're giving a discount that's less than what they paid. And if that's the case, that 1 out of 100, just refund them the difference and go on with it. I would definitely do that though. If they come back to you and they say, hey, I see you're offering a better deal. Can I get access to that? There's a lot of goodwill there in doing that. So I would not deny them that. I would just go ahead, bite the bullet and say, oh yeah, no problem. I'll handle that for you. But it's going to be minimal. It's going to be pretty minimal. The whole goal is to turn them into a customer anyway. So
Yeah.
I would not be concerned or worried about chasing the ghosts. When the ghost actually comes to life and it's in front of you, give it the discount, defeat the ghost, and move on.
Okay, John. Hey, one thought is in Google Contacts, it will recognize that the same name has different emails, has different contacts, and suggest the merge. It'd be great if there was a way to automate that in, say, Kartra, where it would recognize the same name under different emails and just suggest a merge or something.
Yeah. I know I've never seen that in Kartra specifically. I have another billing software that I use for our hosting company and our web development. And it's got that. It has the ability to merge the contacts. The problem with that is you don't really know which one is the primary and which one is so you can really get your data really screwed up by merging stuff like that. And I know
All
because
right.
I've done it. Like you
Thank you, John.
might have the real email address, but it has the bogus shipping address. And then the bogus shipping address doesn't match the billing on the card. So now you've got a card that's failing. So you got to be real careful with merging customer data like what you're talking about.
Good point.
I think it's not worth the effort. Just let it be until it's a problem. And then, if you see that as a problem, then just go in and manually delete the bad profile.
Well, I guess I'm more aware of it because I often am getting, like, I'll sign up for a paid webinar and I'm still getting promoted as if I haven't on my secondary email all
Yeah.
the time. So it's very apparent to me every day that, that's the manifestation of my way of signing up. But it allows me to sign up for a lot of different sites and not encumber my primary email that much.
Yeah. And again, just recognize that, you're not the norm. That's not going to be your customer experience across the board. That's going to be, here and there, maybe.
Good point, because it's normal for me. So it's nice to hear I'm not the norm.
That's what we have to be careful because in many cases, we're not our ideal customer. And when we base our actions for dealing with our ideal customers based on us as being the ideal customer, we have a true mismatch there. So you have to be careful.
By the way, I'm just gonna make one comment about email frequency. You've discussed in the past, if you're not sending out a lot, send more. If they opt out, they weren't your customer, right? But I gotta say, I signed up for some of these I'm interested in. I'm not ready to engage quite yet. I want them on my radar. And they barrage me with an every day or 2 times a day email. And I'm like, just stop. And a couple of them offer occasional deep coupons for product that I buy. So I don't want to opt out, but I come to resent the company. I don't want to opt out because I want those deep coupons that come once in a while, but I resent having to go through so much junk. So anyway, just a thought. I'm once a week is great. Once a day, and you're my enemy. All right.
That's actually a good lesson to learn from, because they're giving you so much value here and there that you're willing to put up with all that garbage. So for
That's true.
for you, you can learn a lot from that. What is it that they're doing that's keeping you so attached to them? You want to do that with your customers. Just
In
don't
particular,
club
that's
them,
Chewy.
yeah, just don't club them over the head like they're doing, and then you've got the best of both worlds. That's one of the things that Frank Kern said is you don't have to have a better product. You just have to look at what else they're dealing with and just do it a little bit better. Take what somebody else is doing good and just do it a little bit better. You don't have to
Yeah.
recreate the wheel. So,
Thanks, John.
yeah, absolutely. All right. Anybody else? Anything else we want to cover for today? I think we covered some good ground today. All right. Well, let me look here real quick. Next week, we're good regular time. And then the following week is the first week we'll be doing Mondays, and we'll do them 2 Mondays consecutively. Actually, 3 Mondays consecutively. Then we'll be back. Well, actually, shit, that puts us on 4th of July. I don't think you guys want to do a 4th of July call. So maybe for the next month we'll be on Mondays after next week. So anyway, let me know if you have any questions between now and next week, and have a great week. We will talk to you guys soon.